Hi everybody, I am Anjindra. This is What to Play Next, and this is Mass Effect from BioWare. It's one of the most incredible games ever produced. Those nested storylines that you see at the end of Detroit Become Human. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of what else. Most of the really popular RPGs have them out now. They peaked at Mass Effect. They've been glorious ever since, because it actually takes them and it weaves them together as you go through the series. It's a trilogy. They are each standalone pieces, but if you do choose to load your character, you load every choice that you made in the universe. So you'll never run across a character that, for instance, you made a choice and they got killed, etc., etc. So we are going to do this piecemeal, so I feel like I have this drama queen moment where I could be like, if I'm already dead, or if you're seeing this, I'm already dead. We are releasing these so slowly because they're such large segments, but we did decide to do a playthrough on this and on Metro 2033 because they were just such incredible games. So we are currently in Paradise. We're in one of the most beautiful creations in the universe. It's central to literally everything. We're the humans, obviously. We just got an approval to be a licensed assassin for the Council,
Good day, Commander.
which is the Elder Races.
Up the stairs, first room on the right.
Obviously, I'm pro-American being an American, but that does tend to be us because we're a little bit more impetuous, but people need us for things like understanding war and virtual reality and that sort of thing.
You know who I am? Yes, I receive reports on all newly arrived dignitaries and notable people.
So that's an Asari. They're one of the 3 Elder Races, obviously.
What is this place? This is the Presidium. More specifically, you are at the Citadel embassies. If you have more questions, please access Savina.
So the Presidium is where all the Elder Races got together and decided to go mercantile with
What's
the help
that?
of the Boris.
Oh, Avina is the virtual guide for the Citadel. Feel free to access the terminal yourself. What's your name? What do you do here? My name is Sephiria. I'm the administrative assistant for the embassies. You seem to be distracted. The embassies are the hub of all Citadel politics. When you represent trillions of citizens, it tends to get a little busy. I should be going now. Have a pleasant day.
So you can do all sorts of things to get more. For instance, if you're into lore, it's ridiculous. If you fall behind and you want to check on your missions, it keeps track of that for you. Mark all entries is viewed. The Codex is where it gets really interesting. So
the Elcor are a Citadel species native to the high-gravity world Dakuna. They are massive creatures, standing on 4 muscular legs for increased stability. Elcor move slowly, an evolved response to an environment where a fall can be lethal. This has colored their psychology, making them deliberate and conservative. Elcor's speech is ponderous and monotone. Among themselves, scent, slight movements, and sub-vocalized infrasound convey shades of meaning that make a human smile seem as subtle as a firework.
So if you're into that incredibly digitized sort of space exploration game, you pick that up every time you encounter another species, where you can go through that interface and then switch back to the FPS style, slightly enclosed world RPG. So there are no 400 side quests. There are more like 20. Oops, hold on. I do this every time. What I want to do is hit enter.
Greetings and welcome to the Presidium. My name is Avina, and I am pleased to be your virtual guide throughout this level of the Citadel Space Station.
So are you a person or a program?
I am a fully interactive virtual intelligence, programmed to provide spontaneous guidance at predetermined locations of interest throughout this level of the Citadel. I may also be contacted through any of the Presidium VI terminals, should you require assistance.
Give me the tour.
You are standing at Presidium Tourism Terminal 1. On either side of this lobby are the embassies of the various Citadel races, along with CSEC headquarters. On the far end of this level, you can see the Citadel Tower, where the Council meets regularly to discuss matters of interstellar importance.
I want to know more about Citadel security.
Citadel security serves as law enforcement for all regions of the Citadel, though the majority of officers serve in the wards. Executor Palin, a Turian, is the current head of CSEC, but individuals from virtually every species across Citadel space serve as officers beneath him. If you wish to learn more, Executor Palin's office is located in the CSEC headquarters just across the lobby.
I tend to assign nationality immediately. I have the Turians as the English versus the Asari as the Scandinavians, as they're a more homogenized culture. The Asari live for so long that they're slightly more diverse, so any of the 3 Scandinavian nations that aren't the Dutch, I immediately identify as the Asari, and then kind of the council and some of the problems that are coming from it, I put above that. So that's kind of how I organize that. CSEC is incidentally investigating
each
for
species
us.
in Citadel space important enough to be consulted on matters of galactic politics maintains an embassy on the Presidium. The Volus were the first non-council species to be granted an embassy, roughly 2,384 galactic standard years ago. As Citadel space has expanded, more embassies have been added. The most recently added embassy belongs to your own species, humanity. It was added 19 galactic standard years ago, despite some rather vocal opposition.
How come the Volus were the first species given an embassy?
In the early years following the formation of the Council, the Volus were, apart from the Asari and Salarians, the most populous and widespread species in Citadel space. They established many new colonies and trading outposts, and they petitioned the Council for a greater role in determining interstellar policy. In recognition of their work to expand interstellar trade and establish a standardized galactic economy, the Volus were granted an embassy here on the Citadel.
Why were people trying to keep my species out?
Some species felt humanity was given preferential treatment. It often takes a century or more before a new species is granted an embassy. The Council gave a great deal of thought to this matter. In the end, they decided humanity's impact on Citadel space was significant enough to warrant an embassy.
Do you agree with their decision?
I am not programmed to make that kind of qualified judgment. My code is limited to information and simple interaction simulations.
They went with the Marines for space, which is interesting. Those are our shock troops. We actually use them to invade, as opposed to the Air Force, which is what's actually going into Space Force, although Space Force is separate from it. So the Air Force is much more focused on socializing if you examine their culture, which is interesting. You can definitely see
Do you know anything about Spectres?
humanity-heavy.
The term Spectre is derived from the branch of Special Tactics and Reconnaissance. Each Spectre agent is handpicked by the Council. Their primary role is preserving galactic stability and resolving volatile situations that cannot be handled through normal political channels. In this role, they are granted extraterritorial rights and jurisdictions. Spectres answer to no law or authority except the Council itself.
So that's us. We're kind of like an independent policing agency, like a Tron, for them. So you can see, like I said, where you have the more aggressive, like, marine counterintelligence approach to diplomacy than anything else. And it's very interesting when you run into, I'm trying to think of what the name of the species is that I associate with the Russians, because we get along with them so well, and then we abruptly don't understand them.
What
and
can
I
you
feel
tell
like
me about
that's
the
very
Citadel
expressive
Council?
of the future.
Originally, the Council consisted of representatives from the Asari and Salarians, the 2 dominant species in Citadel space. Roughly 1,304 galactic standard years ago, Turians were invited to join the Council in recognition of the role they played during the Krogan Rebellion.
Krogans, that's what they are.
Since then, the 3 Council races have worked together to ensure the peaceful coexistence of the galactic community, while preserving individual autonomy for each species.
It can't be as simple as that. There must be problems somewhere in the system.
I am not programmed to make that kind of qualified judgment. My code is limited to information and simple interaction simulations.
Goodbye.
So yeah,
Goodbye,
there's this
and thank you
aggression
for using Avina. Please enjoy your visit to the Citadel.
that I just feel would have been ruled out, especially when America hits trade. When humans hit trade. But I automatically label the species because it's scientific theory. Sci-fi is almost always an exploration of scientific theory. This is examining mass compression and how that would work for interstellar warp drives. So the theory is very heavily focused around biology, and you'll see that a lot in the side quests and whatnot, and it makes the Asari palatable versus what would happen if it was more focused around, I don't know, like Star Trek is focused around technology. So obviously that takes a different bent towards biology, whereas a culture like the Asari would never be considered advanced because they're simply too liberal. But the humans are seen as more primitive because we have our own thing. It just immediately switches over. So since we're exploring the theories of mass in this one, you wind up with a lot more in the way of cultural examination because biology is very heavily influenced. Ironically, finances almost never come into it. There's a standardized currency and an understanding that we are all fiscally equal, as in not at all, and that the elder races are largely there where they are because of that financial. You see it with the Voris, where the elder races are where they are financially, or excuse me, the
What's this?
Brain is where they are financially because of this capitalism.
A very famous one, yes. You are the one called Shepard.
Ooh, you know me.
The tale of how you survived the great tragedy on Akuz is truly remarkable. I am amazed each time I hear it.
I don't...
You've got me at a disadvantage here.
Forgive me, Earth Clan. My name is Barney Vaughan. My job makes it necessary for me to keep informed. I am a financial advisor to many important clients here on the Citadel. When someone as important as yourself arrives on the station, I take notice.
Tell me more about your job.
Galactic finance is incredibly complex. A mix of laws and regulations from dozens of interstellar economies. I'm an expert in how all these economies interact. For a fee, I share my expertise. I also offer premium services for those clients who need someone to conduct business without drawing unwanted attention. Discreet and efficient. That's my motto.
These guys are interesting because visually they look very much like a species that you encounter later with Tali, but they're much more like the Romulans in that they, for some reason, need some sort of buffer in order to interact with literally any other species because we have a standardized environment. Apparently they don't.
Sounds pretty shady.
So
Everything
yeah,
I do falls completely within the bounds of
like,
interstellar
so
commerce law. Even so, many of my clients would prefer their transactions remain undisclosed.
Now, for instance, on the Boris,
For example,
you can see their
suppose
mouth.
a Hanar ambassador was petitioning the council to reduce tariffs on Hanar goods. How would it look if he had money invested in a Hanar exporting company? Even if his true motives were to help his people, he would be accused of advancing the petition for his own personal gain.
So they handle the black
I
market.
can keep his personal finances private.
Still sounds shady to me.
Then we can only hope you will never be cursed with a large enough fortune to require my services.
Well, thank you.
What's it like living here on the Citadel?
The station is without a doubt the greatest wonder in the galaxy. It is a technological marvel, but its true splendor goes much deeper than the hull and engines. From the Presidium to the wards, the entire station is a testament to the success of the Council. All the species of Citadel spaced together in a single strong community.
So you can explore an awful lot about
What makes the
culture.
Presidium so special?
It is the political center of Citadel space. 80% of all intelligent species in the known galaxy acknowledge the Council's authority on interstellar matters.
80%,
But only the
huh?
most powerful and influential species have embassies here on the Presidium. This level of the station is reserved for the elite, Shepard, people like us.
So they use exclusion still in order to create the environment
What
that
are
they
the
need
wards
despite the finance.
The cultural heart
finances.
of the galaxy.
They pulse with the lifeblood of millions of citizens from dozens of different species. You never know what you'll find out in the wards, Commander. It's always full of surprises. Fortunately, most of them are pleasant.
Oh, what happened? I just lost audio. Lost all audio.
Fortunately, most of them are pleasant.
Alright.
What are the wards like?
The cultural heart of the galaxy. They pulse with the lifeblood of millions of citizens from dozens of different species. You never know what you'll find out in the wards, Commander. It's always full of surprises. Fortunately, most of them are pleasant.
So, very three-dimensional characters. And you have to have that sort of emotional investment in it in order to continue, because it is such a long game, that it's dopamine and then adrenaline fueled. You can actually, you will want to sit down and play this game. You're dropping it in the middle, which is why I'm hyping a little bit, because you do need that little adrenaline rush, so. Alright, so the wards are dangerous.
I should go.
You're an intermediary if it ever gets
Commander.
screwed. They do add things like that to let you know services like that are offered. Just because. You can obviously interact with peasants a little bit. Here's one.
Ah, human. This one is greatly pleased to see you here in my decadent emporium.
Who are you?
This one's face name is Delaninder, though many in this place simply refer to it as Delan. Please take time to examine the fine goods it has for purchase, all of great worth.
Show me your items.
Oh, this one is pleased to do so, human. You will not be disappointed.
Okay, so we can go through and purchase things. This did get teased a little bit as, similar to dressing your children up for primary school when it came to the sheer amount of stuff that you could, buy and so on. This is actually really great, pricing on this, but I don't have a Turian or a Quarian, which is who Talia is. I identified her by name by accident. But I don't have a Turian or a Quarian yet, so obviously that's where I would go for their non-human armor. You can talk to your crew.
They built themselves quite the lake. Wonder if anyone ever drowned in it.
Sure is peaceful here.
She was a scientist, or at least she was on scientific detail. You do wind up with the option of shacking up with one of your crew members. Very human experience as far as literally everything went. I had heard that either they consulted with doctors or that it was a doctor who helped write it. I forget which one it is. So in addition to the sci-fi layout, where you do have the cards that are floating as though McGee had pulled them up for your geeky perusal, you do also have that biological bent where, and I warn people, in America, sexual education falls under health 100% unless you hit some of the more fervent parts of the Bible Belt, or unless you hit people who were placed specifically, some boomtown stuff like that. You'll just constantly run into that itself. We are investigating on the behalf of a diplomat, and we're trying to find out what happened
Welcome.
with
I'm
this particular
Elena.
Asari.
I don't recognize you as one of our expected clients today. Would you like me to see when the consort will be able to meet with you?
So, there is a consort on the station, obviously. We're blowing time until CSEC gets back to us, and we meet with the diplomats, because our last mission got blown. One of the Spectres got shot by another one, and it was our first mission, so we're in,
Can't I just go in?
Chimkey here.
I'm afraid not.
Chimkey? Sorry.
Yeah, you must understand there are many who seek the consort services. But if you wish to leave your name, she'll make every effort to meet with you.
Commander Shepard, with the Alliance Navy.
Excellent. You should hear something in 3 or 4 months.
Nobody's worth that much of a wait.
Well, that's not for me to judge. I have your name, and you'll be contacted. Is there anything else?
Hey man, I hit the Disney button. I might as well get the ticket, right?
What is the consort? What does she do?
It's difficult to explain. She's many things to many people, and something different for each. Some seek her for advice, some for entertainment, others still for pleasure. Most of the time, our clients won't realize what they were seeking until after she has provided it for them.
So this sort of naive wisdom that keeps coming up when I discuss game theory in general and gamer culture in particular is that they teach you how to investigate by speaking. You do have to go to school.
You make her sound like some kind of oracle.
No, not in the usual sense. She's merely a woman with remarkable compassion and a generous spirit. I suggest you make an appointment and see for yourself.
I did.
What do you do here, Nalina?
I'm one of the consort's acolytes. Many of the people here today will not see the consort, but they expect to be attended to just the same. It's our job to ensure that they leave contented.
What exactly do you attend to?
Well, each acolyte has her unique abilities. Some soothe with song, others with conversation. As much as possible, we seek to match the needs of our clients to the skills of our acolytes. My specialty is touch. My fingertips can find every tension point in your body and relieve it.
I'd like to try out your services.
Excellent. I'll add you to our client list. We should be able to see you in 3 or 4 months.
Alrighty.
I think I'm done here.
Oh, well, I hope you'll return again in the future. We always enjoy seeing new clients.
Nalina,
Yes, Shaira?
send the commander up to see me. I wish to speak with her.
Yes, of course, mistress.
The side quests present this interesting dichotomy that allows you to explore cultures without losing your buffer, which I thought was extraordinarily well
It
done.
appears the consort has taken notice of you. She'd like to meet with you now.
Where do I go?
Just head upstairs. She'll be waiting for you.
It's extraordinarily important to know what's polite, especially when you have neutral ground. And they have an interesting color scheme because it spans several cultures. This color brown is burnt sienna through tan, and we almost never use that in American culture. So that one was an interesting one.
I see even the humans find the consort irresistible.
You can get a lot of flavor out of this, but very little in the way of information unless you want to go directly
This is
technical.
my first time. I can't believe I didn't come sooner.
Welcome. It is a pleasure to see you.
And then if you are directly interacting with... Oh, that's a human.
You're with the Alliance? My brother's a private back on Earth.
Then you only get what is directly associated with wisdom. So that's well done as far as, acknowledging game theory and how that affects your
That is close
perceptions of
enough,
self.
Commander. I've heard a great many things about you since your arrival here in our citadel.
If you become a proponent of a smart game, you will generally feel that you are smarter. It's just basic human psychology.
What exactly do you do? That depends on your needs. I offer advice to some, comfort to others. I have a certain problem that could use your expertise.
What this gives you is food for thought, especially with regards to human interaction, when everything is kind of foreign. But unless you know how to look that up, you're not going to advance
Maybe I
too
can help.
far.
I have a friend, Septimus, a retired Turian general. I won't discuss the details, but he wanted me to be more than I could be. We had a falling out. Now he spends his days in Cora's den, drinking and spreading lies about me. If you would speak to him as a fellow soldier, I believe he will listen to you and let the matter be. What happened between you? I respect his privacy too much to go into the details. If he wishes to tell you what happened, that is his prerogative. What exactly do you want me to tell him? Appeal to his sense of honor. Remind him of his position as a general. If you can convince him to stop spreading lies about me, I would be very grateful.
I got hugs.
Now I must ask you to take your leave. I have many clients waiting to see me.
And I got hugs. Look at that. It's not every day that a Marine gets asked to do something and gets hugged for it. My life is interesting. I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. We were supposed to see the attendant on behalf of a diplomat, and now we have another side quest, so I do tend to wrap it up there, just for continuity's sake. I'm Anjindra. Hopefully this has sucked you in and not, refuses to let go, because we absolutely adore the series. We're so glad that we found it, and I can't wait to play Mass Effect 2, so I'm going to play all the way through and then load my character, which is one of the reasons why we're doing this. So hit the subscribe button, hit like. If you find everything that is awesome in gaming, if you've never played this game, I think it's like $20 on Steam. Ridiculously good. You will just, you'll become just so much more open to being happy and looking things up and being a part of the indie community and everything like that. Everything that is, game theory, as far as I've been able to research it. So definitely great motivation for whatever you want to put on top of that, and I know that gamers do. So smash the subscribe button, hit like, there's a link in the description below if you want to buy it. We will see you in the next video, and as always, much love.